Hello everyone, I'm going to be doing part 7 and the big finale of my all 184 films I saw in 2021. So this is the top 20. So without further ado, let's get into it. My number 20 goes to Cruella. I'm so surprised that Cruella actually beat Tick Tick Boom. I think Cruella was such an awesome film. I really loved Cruella. I loved the art in this film. The movie was fantastic. The cast was fantastic. You have Emma Stone, Emma Thompson, Joel Fry, Paul Walter Hauser, who was in Cobra Kai. I think it was in Cobra Kai. And then directed by Craig Gillespie, who has directed I, Tonya. Yeah, and he's going to be directing Pam and Tommy, which I cannot wait. And maybe it's going to be my top 20 anticipated TV shows, which will be coming out tomorrow. Who knows? But yeah, loved Cruella. Definitely check it out. My number 19, a movie that, one of the biggest films I've seen of the year. So surprising, it's still this high. It's Promising Young Woman. Promising Young Woman was such a cool film. I loved this film so much. It was really cool. I loved my time with this film. It was entertaining, enjoyable, fun. Loved it. Promising Young Woman was such a cool movie. Emerald Fennell, who directed it, I think she does a fantastic job directing it. And Carey Mulligan, who starred, fantastic. Both Burnham was in this film, played Alison Brie was fantastic. Clancy Brown was fantastic. So a great cast. I even have Adam Brody and Max Greenfield and Christopher Mintz-Plazer, who was in like Superbad, The Disaster Artist, Kick-Ass, all those cool films. But yeah, Promising Young Woman was such a cool film. Definitely check it out if you have not seen it already. Number 18, I know some people are going, why is it this low? It's A Quiet Place Part 2. A Quiet Place Part 2, don't get me wrong, I love this film. It was really cool. It's with casts such as Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, Millicent Simmons, Noah Jupe, Jim John Honso, John Krasinski was a little bit in it, and directed by John Krasinski, who has directed A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. I love A Quiet Place Part 2. I love the story. Do I think it's better than A Quiet Place? Yes, I think this is actually better than the original, to be honest. I loved A Quiet Place Part 2. It was such an awesome film that I loved and enjoyed, and cannot wait to rewatch Quiet Place Part 2 when I rewatch it. But yeah, I loved A Quiet Place Part 2. Definitely check it out if you have not seen it already, because yeah, I was not surprised that it was going to be an awesome film, but yeah, I loved it. Number 17 goes to a surprising film I saw in the year, Pig. Pig, oh my god, this film was surprising. It's a Nicolas Cage film, and Alex Wolff was in this film, and directed by Michael Ceranosky, this was his first film he made, and yeah, so I'll tell you the plot. So, a truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregon wilderness must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foreigning pig after she is kidnapped. Yeah, it's basically Nicolas Cage hunting down and trying to find his pig. It sounds crazy, and I loved it. Pig was, oh God, it was awesome. Cannot wait to rewatch Pig. I'm probably gonna rewatch it later because it was that good, and I cannot wait to rewatch it because it was so good, so entertaining. Love this film. Number 16 is Raya and the Last Dragon. Now, Raya and the Last Dragon was a really cool animation film. It's with Kaylee Moran Tran and Aquafina, and directed by Don Hall, who has directed Big Hero 6, Winnie the Pooh, and 2022's Strange World. Okay, fine, just gonna let it off, rip the band-aid off. This is not my top 20, top 30 plus 10 honorable mentions of 2022, unfortunately, but it was very close. But Raya and the Last Dragon, I loved Raya and the Last Dragon. It was such an epic film. I love the animation. The cast was fantastic. Probably the standout for me was Aquafina. Aquafina as the dragon. What was the dragon's name again? Sisu. I think Sisu was a fantastic character, and yeah, I loved Raya and the Last Dragon. Number 15 goes to Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up was... I love Don't Look Up. It was such a cool film. It's with Jennifer Lawrence. You're going to hear this fantastic cast. Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Rob Morgan, Jonah Hill, Cate Blanchett, Mark Rylance, Tyler Perry, Timothy Chalamet, Ron Perlman, Ariana Grande, Kid Cudi, Hamish Patel, Melanie Lisinski, and Michael Chilkis, and more. And directed by Adam McKay, who has directed The Big Short, Vice, Anchorman 2, Step Brothers, The Other Guys, Talladega Nights. So he's directed some really cool films, and yeah, I love Don't Look Up. And probably this is one of my favorite Netflix films of the year, and I just had an absolute blast with Don't Look Up. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out because it was such a blast and such an entertaining film. Number 14 is Judas and the Black Messiah. This was a cool film, yeah. It's with Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, Jesse Plemons, Dominic Fishback, Ashton Sanders, and directed by Shaka Khan. I think he's a fantastic director because, yeah, I think he is great. He's directed big films, but Judas and the Black Messiah, this is probably his big directing debut, and I think he's a fantastic director. The cast is fantastic. My standout for this film is probably Daniel Kaluuya. I think he is fantastic in this film. The movie overall was fantastic, and I cannot wait to rewatch this film because it was so good, and I loved it. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out because it was just a fun film, and yeah, an awesome film. Number 13 goes to a film that was actually filmed in New Zealand, in Central Otago, which is a part of New Zealand, in a little town of what place? Dunedin, I think. And it's called The Power of the Dog. Now, this stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons, and directed by James Campion, who recently got a Golden Globe for her directing, which I'm surprised by, because I thought Denis Villeneuve was going to get up in it. But Power of the Dog was such a fantastic film. I loved it. But yeah, I'll tell you where it was filmed. So it was filmed in New Zealand, including the city of Dunedin, Lindsay's Valley, Oamaru, and Queenstown, with its production base in Auckland. So if you're from New Zealand, that's where it got filmed. The whole film. The Power of the Dog was such an epic film. But yeah, The Power of the Dog, definitely check it out if you have not seen it already. It's on Netflix. Number 12, which was very close to making it to the top 10, is The Mitchells vs. the Machines. This is a fantastic animation film. I think this is actually my best animation film. Yes, it is. It's my favourite animation film of the year. The Mitchells vs. the Machines was something special. I loved this film. It has a great cast to it. Abby Jacobson, Danny McBride, Maya Rudolph, Olivia Colman, Michael Chanda, Eric Andre, and directed by Michael Chanda, who this was his first big film. And Phil and Lord Miller, what did they do? Phil Lord and Christopher Miller both produced the film, and I think they do fantastic because they directed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So yeah, a fantastic film. Number 11, a movie that was very close to my top 10, is Candyman. Candyman was such a cool film. I loved Candyman. As Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Anthony McCoy, and then directed by Nia DaCosta, who directed Candyman, Little Woods, and then the next Captain Marvel film. So I do have hope for this film because it's directed by Nia DaCosta, who directed my 11th favourite film of 2021. So I do have hope for the Marvels, and I loved Candyman and cannot wait to re-watch this film. It was so creepy, the music, it was very cool. Like the opening, the music to it god, that gave me chills. I loved it. Now we're in to the top 10. Number 10, King Richard. King Richard, oh my god. This film was something special. I loved King Richard. I think this is a fantastic film. It's with Will Smith. I think Will Smith is definitely going to get an Oscar nomination for this film, and King Richard is probably going to get an Oscar Best Picture. And then Ronaldo Marcus Green has directed King Richard, and Joe Bell, which Joe Bell was a little bit low on my list, but I still enjoyed it. But King Richard, oh my god, this was such a cool story about telling the story of Venus and Serena Williams, of how they became the two of the most legendary tennis players in history. But yeah, I loved King Richard. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out. My number 9 goes to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This was a fantastic Marvel film. Really surprised me. I did not know that I was going to enjoy Shang-Chi like this much, but I did. Simu Liu is probably one of my favourite heroes, well, Shang-Chi. And yeah, Justin Daniel Cretton, who directed it, has directed Just Mercy, and is going to be directing Shang-Chi too, which is coming out. But yeah, cannot wait for that, because I love Shang-Chi, and cannot wait for a sequel to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, because this film is outstanding and so good, and cannot wait for the sequel of Shang-Chi. And yeah, I just really enjoyed Shang-Chi. I think this is a great film. Definitely check it out if you have not seen it already, because if you haven't, what are you doing? Shang-Chi is fantastic. Number 8 for me, Zack Snyder's Justice League. This film was so good. I'm really surprised by how good they can actually make it. It's Justice League movie, because the first one, we don't talk about the first Justice League, but it's, come on, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, Cyborg, Lois Lane, Alfred Pennyworth, great people, and directed by, of course, Zack Snyder, who did not direct, what's the movie I'm talking about? I can't even think. Justice League. He wrote it, and it says it. But yeah, I loved Zack Snyder's Justice League. Definitely check it out if you have not seen it already, because it was such a fun film. Really enjoyed it, and yep, it was really cool and really enjoyable. My number 7 is The Dry. This was the second film I saw in the theatres in 2021, and I can't believe it's still in my top 10. I really loved The Dry. I think Eric Bana does a fantastic job in this film, directed by Robert Connolly, who has directed The Turning, which came out in 2013, and Paved Plans, which I have not, yes, I have seen. I think that's a cool family flick. But The Dry was something special, so I'm going to tell you the synopsis. So Aaron Falk returns to his drought-stricken hometown to attend a tragic funeral, but his return opens a decades-old wound, the unsolved death of a teenage girl. Yeah, it was good. If you have not seen The Dry, definitely check it out. I definitely must watch it. Must watch. But yeah, this was such a cool film, and I loved every second of it. My number 6 movie that was very close to making it to my top 5 is Free Guy. Now, Free Guy was a film I loved. It was actually my number 11, I think, on my list, so I kind of changed it when I rewatched it. And the reason I put it this high, this is probably the most entertaining film I've seen of the year. Most entertaining film. You have casters Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, Jodie Carey, Ray Haley, Kushta, Budka, and Taika Waititi. You've got Channing Tatum in there, and directed by Sean Levy, who has directed the Night at Museum films, The Internship, Real Steel, so some great films. But Free Guy was such a surprising film of the year, and cannot wait to rewatch it, because it's on Disney Plus, and I'm happy by it, because I get to rewatch it. And tomorrow I get to rewatch Eternals, which hopefully it might change my opinion. Number 5 is a movie that was on my list. My top 5 since June. And it's In the Heights. In the Heights was the best musical I've seen in the year. Has a great cast. Anthony Ramos, Corey Hawkins, Leslie Grace, Melissa Barrera, who was in the new Scream. Directed by John M. Chu, who has directed Crazy Rich Asians and ASME 2 and G.I. Joe Retaliations. So some great films. Except G.I. Joe Retaliations, so it was a bit But anyway, In the Heights was such a fun film. I loved it. It was really entertaining and really enjoyed this film. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out. I must. And yeah, definitely check it out. It's such a cool film and really enjoyed my time with In the Heights. And yeah, such an entertaining film. My number 4 has to be No Time to Die. No Time to Die was such an epic film. So we're getting to I've gave 4 films 5 out of 5s. So one of them is No Time to Die. No Time to Die was a fantastic film. Great send off to Daniel Craig as James Bond. He had a great cast. Daniel Craig and Rami Malek, and Lea Seydoux and Ralph Fiennes, Ben Winslow, Natasha Lynch, Christopher Waltz, Jeffrey Wright, Billy Magnuson, Ana de Armas, and directed by Carrie Joel Funga, who directed a film with Idris Elba called Beast of No Nations, and Manic with who was in there? Emma Stone and John Hill. But No Time to Die was such a special film, and yeah, I loved it, and can't wait to rewatch No Time to Die. My number 3 goes to The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad was a really great film. It's a fantastic film, directed by, of course, James Gunn. I think James Gunn does a fantastic job, and I cannot wait for Peacemaker with John Cena. So you have great cast: Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, Joel Kinnaman, Sylvester Stallone, Will Davis, David Dastmalchian, Daniela Melchior, Michael Rooker, Jake Courtney, Peter Capaldi, Alice Braga, Pete Davidson. You have a great cast. And Taika Waititi was in there as well. And Nathan Fillion. And yeah, I loved The Suicide Squad. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out. It's a must watch. And yeah, it's just an epic film that I just loved every second of, and cannot wait to rewatch it. And yeah, it was such a cool film. My number 2 goes to Dune. Now, Dune was such an epic film. I knew that Dune was going to be high up on this list for me. I loved Dune so much. It was very close to back up to my number 1 spot, but of course people know what my number 1 is. But Dune was such an epic film. I loved every second of it. It has probably one of the best casts I've seen in a movie yet. Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Justin Momoa, Zendaya, David Dastmalchian, and directed by Denis Villeneuve. And I think Denis Villeneuve is a fantastic director who directed Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, Prisoners, Sicario, and more. But I loved Dune. If you have not seen it, definitely check this film out. It is such an epic film that I love every second of, and it was so cool. But of course, my number 1 film of 2021 has to be Spider-Man No Way Home. There's no question about this. The film was fantastic. It's a masterpiece of a film. I loved every second of this film. It was the best film I've seen in 2021, and yeah, I love this film. Tom Holland does a fantastic job as Spider-Man in this film. We have a great villains. Green Goblin was probably the best character of this film. You have Dr. Octopus, the Lizard, Electro. Who's the other one I'm missing? There's one I'm missing. Sandman. But yeah, this movie was fantastic. I loved every second of it. We even got Doctor Strange in this movie. MJ, Ned, fantastic. And yeah, really a fantastic film. I loved every second of it. But yeah, that is that. Hope you enjoyed me ranking my all 184 films I saw in 2021. I know there was heaps of parts of this. Sorry about that. It's very long. Hopefully, probably the same for this year, unfortunately. But hope you stay tuned to that at the end of the year. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. Be a big help. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned to my top 30 plus 10 honorable mentions of movies of 2021. My top 20 2022 anticipated TV shows plus 3 honorable mentions and my Ghostbusters Afterlife review. And I'm deciding on doing another video, which I'm not going to be, which is a surprise. But I don't know if I'm doing it yet. But yes, hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. Be a big help. Thank you for watching. Take care. Peace.